Hey everyone, it's Super Bowl Sunday tomorrow. We are recording on a Saturday. We've been off for about a week and a half, so we've got a lot to cover between coaching hires, NFL honors, and of course the big game tomorrow. We will have all that for you. It should be a great show, so stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest episode of the Sports Ballers Podcast. My name is Eric Meyer. I'm joined by Cory Puffett and Evan Ash, as always. Fellas, how are we doing on a Saturday?
Rare Saturday podcast. Yeah, I'm doing all right. Recovering from losing my voice earlier in the week. I had some exciting basketball games. Disappointing outcomes for the Stags in the last couple of them, but we had a fun one against St. John's on Sunday that you got to call with me, Eric. So
yeah,
that was cool.
That was the best one to call because we won that game, and it was a nail biter. We were down for most of the game and rallied right at the end and pulled out a nice W. So,
well, and that was the problem, was that the other two games that we had this week, we also were down early and we couldn't rally all the way. We were playing against PVI, who's the number one team in the country, and then we had a letdown against Carroll on Thursday.
Oh, yeah, no. I was surprised when I saw that we had lost to Carroll. I knew Paul VI would be tough, but
Carroll is always an interesting team
scrappy.
Because they're very scrappy.
Yeah.
They have the ability to play almost any team close. It's just that they tend to lack the discipline to close games out. Unfortunately, we messed around too much, gave them enough of a lead that even though we started to come back late, it was too little too late.
Well, as tragic as that is for our favorite high school basketball team, we are talking about professional football today.
We are.
And
I'm doing well, too.
Oh, well, okay. How are you, Evan?
I'm doing well, too.
Okay, yeah. Get a nice rest.
Yes, feeling nice and rested.
Get some rest from your rest. That's good to have that. Cory is blowing his nose.
I'm sorry.
But we will get this show started in earnest. A little slow out of the gate here, but again, we've got a lot to talk about. It's been about 11 days since our last podcast, so a lot of action has happened as far as coaching hires. We discussed John Harbaugh becoming the Giants coach last episode, and probably a handful of others. I wrote down the ones that I'm pretty sure we did not discuss because this happened after we recorded.
Yeah, I think it's like all but Harbaugh.
So pretty much everybody, yeah. So I want to go through this pretty quickly because there's a lot of names and we don't have to be too thorough here. But the first one, I think the most interesting one, at least for... I would actually say the most interesting one is the Bills' hire of Joe Brady, because the Bills are a perennial contender. We discussed McDermott's firing last show, and we kind of agreed that it wasn't really McDermott's just a bad coach. It was more of a, when you're Super Bowl or bust, sometimes bust has to mean something, and he got fired. Bizarre choice to me, though, to then tap the offensive coordinator who worked under him to become the head guy. Normally, if you feel like the previous regime wasn't getting it done, the whole regime goes.
Yeah, that was weird. The Bills owner made kind of an impulsive decision, after the Bills lost in overtime in Denver. He was just like, oh, well, the vibes in the locker room weren't quite right, so Sean McDermott had to go.
The problem is, how does this change the vibes? You're still dealing with the same,
largely
the same coaching staff, and then on top of that, I think we talked a little bit because when we had our last podcast, they had fired McDermott at that point. So we talked about the curious decision to promote Brandon Beane, who I think was much more to blame for a lot of the personnel issues that the Bills have had, particularly on the defense, but he tried to lead this slander campaign to put, for example, the decision to draft Keon Coleman on McDermott, and then almost immediately afterwards we get just a slew of receipts from around the time of that draft that showed that no, it was absolutely Brandon Beane who fell in love with Keon Coleman and would stop at nothing to have him on their team. So the Bills are in a state of upheaval right now, and I don't think that if anything, I think that this team is going to be a lot worse next year. Obviously, they're still going to have a perennial All-Pro quarterback in Josh Allen, who has done a lot with very little over the past several years. They're still going to have James Cook, who has been excellent the last 2 seasons, got a big extension this past offseason. Congratulations to him. But the defense is largely going to be the same, and I don't think that they're going to be making the changes they need to make on offense, considering most of the regime remains intact.
Yeah, I kind of talked a little bit about the McDermott firing, where, again, it's almost like when you lose so frequently, it just becomes a case where the operation loses belief. And so you need to change course purely just to get, as Evan likes to say oftentimes, get some new people to complain about, right?
But this is changing course by not changing
right,
course.
and that's the point. It's like you're not really changing anything here. You fired one guy and then promoted the number 2. That's not that. It's the same regime. You just threw one guy overboard. Like it's weird that they made this decision. I think that the Bills kind of got exposed as an organization a little bit throughout this entire process, because I think most people would look at the Bills and say, that seems like a pretty tight ship because they've had success over the last decade. But honestly, with the way the owner behaved, and we know that Brandon Beane is not having a successful run drafting players, it feels a little bit like it's just Josh Allen and probably maybe Sean McDermott were just holding the entire operation together.
I was just going to say,
if he's gone,
I'm perfectly prepared to see the product on the field next year and change my rhetoric. But I really do feel like Sean McDermott deserves a lot more credit for holding things together for as long as he has. And obviously Josh Allen also deserves some credit for just how much improvement he has shown over the course of his career. But we'll see. Maybe next year this team comes out and winds up being really good, and maybe Joe Brady actually does make significant changes that could get them over the hump. I just don't see it happening.
And this is no shade to Joe Brady. He was a damn good offensive coordinator. He's younger than I realized, just because we've been hearing his name for quite some time. He was the passing coordinator at LSU when they won the championship in 2019. But he was like 30 when that happened. So he's only 36 now.
Right. And obviously with Sean McDermott being a defensive-minded head coach, Joe Brady deserves a lot of credit for what the offense has done with very little outside of Josh Allen and James Cook. But again, with Brandon Beane only being promoted in this situation, you imagine that the personnel issues that we have witnessed this team have over the past 4, 5, 6 years, those aren't going away.
This is Brandon Beane who got fired and promoted? Like
Not
he failed upward?
Fired, just promoted.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's still going to be in charge of personnel management. He just has.
He's now the president of football operations, and I think he still retains the title of general manager as well.
Yeah,
Goodness gracious.
So he's taken another job that he's not qualified for. So
in addition to the job he has.
Yeah, so again, Joe Brady didn't seem like again, no shade to him, but it didn't seem like he was on anybody else's list as a head coaching candidate. Seems like Bills were the only team that were going to hire him, and they were probably the team that shouldn't have hired him. But again, he could do a great job. I think he's a fine coach. I just don't think it's a great situation.
No, that's exactly it. It's a situation that I have a concern with.
All right, so I'm just going to go in order from what I wrote down. I'm not really going to try to pick out which ones are coolest here. Todd Monken, former Ravens offensive coordinator, is now the Browns head coach.
The most interesting thing about him is that he is the former Ravens offensive coordinator, and we have a Ravens fan in the studio. So like outside of that, this doesn't really change anything for me. The Browns are still a horrible organization that is doomed for failure. They fired a 2-time coach of the year.
Yeah, and he immediately got hired by somebody else.
They got rid of
as
Jim
he should
Schwartz
have.
too.
Well, that's the interesting thing. They technically didn't get rid of Jim Schwartz. Jim Schwartz walked out of the building because he got passed up for it. So they got rid of him by not hiring him.
He ain't got no job.
It was move up or move out for him. He was not going to tolerate not being
Which, to
promoted.
be fair, I don't know how I feel about Jim Schwartz as a head coach again anyway. That it didn't go that great in Detroit.
No.
The Lions were perennially leading the league in off-season arrests, and I think in-season arrests as well.
They also
when
were
he
not
was
good.
the head
Like,
coach, and he also just wasn't that good. So like he's an excellent defensive coordinator. I don't think that you need to have him in any other position. That said, I understand his frustration with being passed over because of how good of a job he did with that defense. This was one of the best defenses in the NFL, and that's really saying something considering how bad the offense was. the defense was always on the freaking field. And somehow they were still holding teams to relatively low scores, keeping their offense in a position where they had a chance to go down and blow a game-winning drive.
Yeah, like the Browns defense, beating the Steelers in week 17, kept the Ravens seasons alive.
Yep.
For a week.
For a week.
But anyway, so let's move on. Anyway, just last thought on Monken, I guess. Again, didn't seem like there was a whole lot of demand for him as a head coach. Kind of an odd hire by the Browns, but it's also the Browns. Like,
I wish him well.
I wish him well too.
Right? Like, I don't have any beef with him, but it just, like you said, an odd move for the Browns, and this doesn't look like it's going to lead to success. But I mean, we'll see.
You could hire Paul Brown from the grave, and I don't know if he can make this Browns organization function at a high level.
Well, they just send him up the road.
Yeah,
so
exactly. All right. So Mike LaFleur, who I kept seeing LaFleur on the ticker, and I'm always associating that with Matt LaFleur. He's hired by the Cardinals as their head coach, and I was very confused because, wait a second, didn't Matt LaFleur just sign an extension with the Packers? Yes, he did. This is Mike LaFleur. I don't know a whole lot about Mike LaFleur.
I don't know a lot about him either, but here's the interesting thing, when I was trying to figure out what do I want to say here, because I don't know a lot about him. Part of the reason we don't know a lot about him is because he's the Rams offensive coordinator. How much have we known about any of their offensive coordinators in the past several years? It's the Sean McVay show there. Like that's their offense. He's their play caller. He's running the show on offense, and yet we've seen some of his offensive coordinators who do not have significant play calling experience go on to have quite a bit of success as head coaches. We've seen it with Matt LaFleur in Green Bay. We've seen it with Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota. I mean, Kevin O'Connell is widely respected as one of the best head coaches in the NFL right now. We even saw it this past year with Liam Cohen going to Jacksonville and turning a horrible team into where they go 13-4, 14-3 this year with Trevor Lawrence. Like he did a really good job even after the whole Duval opening press conference. So for all we know, Mike LaFleur is going to step in Arizona and do a great job. That said, it's still Arizona, and like the Cleveland Browns, Arizona has had a horrible history. Their only really good coach that they've ever had that I can recall was Bruce Arians.
Yeah, and he retired, then took a new job somewhere else, and
then
won
the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Again, Cory, you mentioned a couple of guys that worked under McVay, but at least like Matt LaFleur got experience with the Titans, like before he became the Packers coach, and Liam Cohen was the Bucs offensive coordinator with Baker the year before. I believe he was their OC.
Oh, he didn't go straight from the Rams?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so maybe you're right. Okay. Because then also you have like Brian Schottenheimer, who had a decent season this year in Dallas, but he's well removed from his time as an offensive coordinator with the Jets.
He was also with the Seahawks.
Yeah, he was with the Seahawks for a bit. That's where he was just before he went to Dallas. So, but we've seen people have success, but to your point, Eric, it's true. Like a lot of them didn't go straight from
we
the
saw
Rams.
Something from
I think Kevin O'Connell may have.
He might be the only one, I think. And obviously, he's probably the best one out of them. But,
yeah.
So it could happen, but again, the problem is Arizona, one, is Arizona, and two, they don't have a quarterback right now because I don't think Kyler Murray's not coming back.
I don't see it, and even if he does, like, how long are they going to have a quarterback for at that point? Jacoby Brissett is old, and like he was on pace for more than 700 passes in the games that he played for Arizona this year, which is insane.
That's really
insane.
Bad. That's not what you want from a backup quarterback. So good luck to Mike LaFleur. Speaking of Mikes, Mike McCarthy, hired by the Pittsburgh Steelers in what is a very strange and certainly off-brand.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Are
you kidding me?
This is as on-brand as it gets.
For the Steelers?
No,
yes.
not at all.
No.
He's from Pittsburgh.
That doesn't matter.
So?
That was the first thing they said when they hired him. It's like,
how is that on brand? Which of their other head coaches have been from Pittsburgh?
But this is what they were going to do
Which of their head coaches were on? Like, if you're going to say it's on brand, it means that there's a tradition or a trend of them doing this. This is not something they've done before. They usually hire a fairly young guy who's going to be their head coach for 20, 30, 40 years. Like, they've had 3 head coaches in the last, 70 years?
Yeah.
Like, how long do we really expect Mike McCarthy to be their head coach? I think that this is beautiful because he prevented the Steelers from winning a Super Bowl back in 2010, 2011.
2010, yeah.
And he's going to prevent them from winning a Super Bowl for however long he's their head coach.
I think a lot of things are preventing him from winning the Super Bowl.
He hasn't.
Yeah.
He had it very early in his career with the Packers. Other teams figured him out. He never figured out how to manage the clock in a game.
Yeah.
Never figured it out in Dallas either. And he's not going to figure it out now because he's an old dog and you can't teach him a new trick.
Okay. Well, I think it's on brand because this is something lackluster and boring that they were going to do. Right? Like, they weren't going to hire anybody exciting. Like, ooh, look at this guy. We can't wait till September to see how he's going to coach a game.
That's not...
It's going to be, right? And then McCarthy from Pittsburgh looks like he's from Pittsburgh, shaped like he's from Pittsburgh, and sounds like he's from Pittsburgh. Okay,
he's a coach Will
Hard.
So I'll forgive him for those things. But...
like they hired this guy only because he's from Pittsburgh, and that's it.
Well, again, that's normally they're a little bit more forward thinking than to hire just some, son of a cop. Like, come on, like that was from Pittsburgh. Like, normally they go get the young guy that's a stud and's going to the Hall of Fame, and Mike Tomlin or Bill Cowher or Chuck Noll.
And that's exactly what I'm getting at is, if you go back to the last 3 times that they've hired a head coach, tell me something that Mike McCarthy has in common with any of them at the time that they were hired by the Steelers. Literally nothing. So no, this is not on brand for the Steelers. This is very much off brand and off-putting and concerning because the Steelers may be losing as an organization.
I'm sure Evan's thrilled about
Oh yeah,
this.
no, it's absolutely great for Evan's team.
Peachy,
I'm not faulting him for being happy about this. This is great. This is one less coach. I mean, really, potentially 2 less coaches you have to worry about in that division that are actually good because I don't know that Todd Monken has it either.
Well, the longest tenure coach in the division. How's he doing?
Zach Taylor. I mean, I still believe that Zach Taylor may be an okay coach. He's definitely the best head coach the Bengals have had in my lifetime.
Marvin Lewis did all right.
Marv was better than people give him credit.
And what about the "you don't live in Cleveland" guy? Like when we were really little. What was that?
I don't even remember
I don't
that
remember
guy.
who that is.
Marvin Lewis is like, I don't know. He's Mike Tomlin light.
Well, Mike Tomlin was pretty good though.
He was excellent, but like by
Marvin
light, I mean like very light.
Yeah,
I mean like 0 calorie Mike Tomlin.
He also had lighter skin, so that's true.
Lord have mercy.
It's true. I didn't say anything untrue.
That's not where I was going.
I know you weren't, but that was what I thought of, because that's where my brain went with that. But anyway, let's move on to Evan. Your team, Jesse Minter, the Ravens hiree, I guess, the new head coach, former defensive coordinator of the Los Angeles Superchargers.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you another thing about him.
I couldn't either.
Defense is great though.
Yeah,
they were good.
I think it's a good hire.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to get back to playing good defense, right? Like the Ravens defense has been the Ravens defense in name only the past couple of years.
Now, have you guys filled the offensive coordinator spot yet?
We hired Declan Doyle from the Bears like a day or 2 ago.
You said a year or 2 ago?
A day or 2 ago.
Oh, a day or 2 ago. Okay. That'll be interesting because, I mean, I don't know anything about him, so I don't know how much experience he really has as a passing coordinator. And the Bears operate in the same sort of, I guess, situation that the Rams have, where Ben Johnson was the offensive coordinator for all intents and purposes in Chicago this past year. So does that qualify him to be an offensive coordinator for the Ravens and to handle that offense? Who knows? We'll have to see.
I mean,
people seem to be excited about the hire, though. Like, there's a lot of people that believe in Declan Doyle a lot as their OC.
I mean, that's fair, and we'll see what happens there. I haven't seen enough to have confidence myself.
My opinion is that none of this matters until September, right? Like, we will see when the games kick off whether these guys are any good or not. Right now, they're just names.
All right, so
why is anybody out there listening to sports podcasts?
We'll skip to the Super Bowl then. We won't discuss these coaching hires at all.
Well, I mean, he could be great or terrible.
Those are
that's
two of the options.
Yeah, it's a results
He
oriented
could also
business.
be average.
But we're also supposed to give our thoughts on what we think they're going to do. That's the exercise. So, all right.
That's what I think. We'll see in September.
Okay.
Can this guy manage the clock? Can he run the ball when he's supposed to?
Did he play any Madden when he was a kid? Because if he played Madden, he could probably manage the clock okay. But let's move on to Jeff Hafley, the Dolphins hire. Where did this guy come from again?
Jeff Hafley was the. I think he was a.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I'm trying to see. He was the defensive coordinator for the Packers.
Okay. I mean, the Packers' defense was kind of underwhelming this year, considering that they had Micah Parsons for most of it. But okay.
Previous to that, he was the head coach at Boston College.
Ooh, sweet, big time stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I do remember him.
The only thing I have to say about this guy is he talked about wanting to play, tough, gritty football, and I'm like, dude, you coach the Miami Dolphins. That's not what Miami does. Like,
no.
There's not a whole lot of grit in that town. Like, just being real with you. But
Yeah.
Kevin Stefanski, hired by the Atlanta Falcons, to my dismay.
Love that hire for them.
I think it's a great hire for them. It's not good for me.
Obviously, Atlanta has some issues to figure out at the quarterback position. Is it going to be Michael Penix? Is he going to be healthy to start the year? Is Kirk Cousins going to be back? Because Kirk actually looked pretty good this year when he was starting.
And he's about to be 40 years old.
Having another year removed from the Achilles injury, he looked good. And there's been some talk that Kirk Cousins could wind up going back to Minnesota this offseason, which would be an interesting one. But Kirk will be 38 when the season starts in September. So, I mean, he is getting up there.
Yeah, and he's not exactly falling from the highest of highs as a player anyway. He
was
a good quarterback.
But he has said this past week that he felt very rejuvenated coming out of this past season, and he was ready to come back.
He's in the best shape of his life.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if he said best shape of his life.
I'm making a joke that every player always says how great they're doing. I mean, Ken Griffey Jr. was in the best shape of his life, and then he's snoozing in the clubhouse and getting kicked off the team.
Rejuvenated means you feel like you're in a good place physically, but even more so mentally, you're feeling good.
Okay, I got it. I'm just taking it all with a grain of salt because
says that.
Nobody's gonna say,
I feel like crap, but I'm ready to come back.
I don't know if I have it, but if somebody wants to give me a job, sure.
Yeah.
But we'll see. That'd be wild. I mean, I would respect the honesty. But.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, Cory is handling some business again. Robert Saleh was hired by the Titans, a retread after the Jets situation, which, you never really get a fair shake with the Jets because they're the Jets. But
the question is, do you get a fair shake with the Titans
Can we talk about how stupid the Titans are right now?
Okay.
Because one of their former coaches is coaching tomorrow night. So
that's true.
Right. So you've got
your former coaches coaching tomorrow night.
They got rid of Mike Vrabel. They got rid of Derrick Henry. They got rid of A.J. Brown, who, granted, A.J. Brown wasn't great this year, but he had several very good years in Philadelphia after they got rid of him.
Ask the Eagles if they could do it again, would they do the A.J. Brown trade? The answer is absolutely yes.
Of course.
They got to 2 Super Bowls with him.
The Titans are a mess of an organization, and that's why I'm concerned about this, not for the Titans, but for Robert Saleh, because you already significantly decreased your stock as a head coach by going to New York. And it went horribly. And I don't think that was Robert Saleh's fault at all. He goes back to the 49ers and shows that he's still got the chops as a defensive coordinator. Does a great job with that defense this year. They've got, as John Hamm said in his opening monologue for the NFL Honors, he assumes that the name 49ers stands for how many players are on injured reserve for them. Mm-hmm. He did it with all these players hurt, missing games throughout the season, and poor Robert Saleh, the Titans are the team that won him. And I didn't think it was a brilliant move by the Titans in the first place, because I'm not a fan of teams with young quarterbacks going and getting defensive-minded head coaches. This is what the Jets did with Robert Saleh the first time. Now the Titans are doing it with Cam Ward. However, the one good thing is that Robert Saleh went and got Brian Daboll as the offensive coordinator. And I think that Brian Daboll is a very good offensive coach. I don't think that he was a very good head coach. Granted, some of that may also be the other New York team that is a dumpster fire in the New York Football Giants. But I think that Brian Dable knows how to coach an offense. And so if anybody can take Cam Ward and really turn him into a really good quarterback and turn that offense into a great offense, it is probably Brian Dable. So I like that marriage. I just don't know if it works. I don't know that anything can really work in Tennessee right now because that team is just in such disarray.
I mean, Brian Daboll got credit, I guess, whether he deserved it or not, for the sort of rebuilding of Josh Allen's mechanics after his second year. And like one of Cam Ward's issues is that his mechanics are a little all over the place.
Absolutely.
Right? He's just slinging the ball any kind of way. So, if that's a thing,
Yep.
then, this is sort of a good match.
Yeah, the issue with this, though, is if Dable has success as the offensive coordinator and actually turns that offense into a functional offense, then he's probably going to get another shot at the head coaching job, and now you have to find a new OC. This is why you want to pair your young quarterback with that head coach who's already got the big job, so they're not going to jump.
Yep.
But, we'll see how that goes. And then the last one I wrote down, I don't think this has actually happened, but it seems like it's all but guaranteed. Clint Kubiak, the current offensive coordinator of the Seattle Seahawks, is presumably going to be the head coach of the Vegas Raiders.
Oh.
Yeah, my understanding is that they have like an agreement.
They have concepts of a plan.
But
Yeah.
basically,
We'll find out in 2 weeks.
But obviously, the Seahawks are playing tomorrow in the big game, and so they're not making anything official right now. But I think the Raiders are already making some coaching staff changes in preparation for Clint Kubiak to be their next head coach. So it seems like it's a done deal. So we'll see.
Some hilarious conversations sort of not involving Clint Kubiak at all, but involving Tom Brady, who is part owner of the Raiders. And Brady has been remiss to throw his support behind the New England Patriots and basically said he has no dog in the fight, which is obviously nonsense. But if Clint Kubiak is his soon-to-be head coach, probably shouldn't be rooting against him in the Super Bowl, but, I don't think it matters, Tom. Just root for the Patriots. It's fine. We get it. Mm-hmm. They have a statue of you out front. Mm-hmm. Just root for the Patriots. Bill's not there anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, the Raiders, in preparation for Clint Kubiak, they apparently got rid of like 60% of their coaching staff.
Yeah, that's a new regime is coming in, which makes sense. All right, that's it for head coaches. There are a couple of coordinator hires that were thrown in there, but we just don't have time to get to all of that.
No, I think the big ones we touched on.
The head coaches, and we subsequently discussed the ones that we thought mattered. Mike McDaniel obviously being the Chargers offense coordinator is kind of cool, but we'll see how that goes too. Let's move on to NFL honors. I'm going to start with the Hall of Fame class, though.
Yeah.
Because it's a pretty good class. Mm-hmm. 2 first ballot selections this year. Larry Fitzgerald.
Obviously.
Legendary wide receiver from the Arizona Cardinals, which is just impossible to do. So, shout out for that.
Yeah, which good quarterbacks did he play with in his career, and for how many years?
Kurt Warner for
he had Kurt
3,
Warner for 3, and really only like a year and a half of that was good Kurt Warner.
Yeah, and then he had Carson Palmer for
a couple years or so.
Yeah, and then Carson washed out, yeah. It was Ryan Lindley and John Skelton and Matt Leinart and so maybe he got a little bit of Jake the Snake early in his career. I don't know if Jake Plummer was still there.
I don't think Jake Plummer and he overlapped.
I'm not sure.
So.
I'm just saying it.
I'm
gonna
look that up. I'm pretty sure that's not the case.
I'm not confident that it's true. I'm just curious. Larry Fitzgerald, again, doing the impossible by being, I think he's second all-time in receiving yards for his career.
Yeah, or at least, I know he at least retired number 2.
And despite being an Arizona Cardinal. Speaking of doing the impossible, the other first ballot Hall of Fame selection is my GOAT, Drew Brees, who did the impossible and won a Super Bowl for the New Orleans Saints. And so, therefore, once that happened, he was guaranteed to be a Hall of Famer. And then he played 11 more seasons, so... great career for Drew Brees. Finished his career second all-time in passing yards. A whole bunch of touchdowns. Corey, you got something for me?
Yep. So, Larry Fitzgerald and Jake Plummer's careers did overlap by about 3 years. But Jake Plummer was in Denver at that point.
Okay. When did he become a Bronco?
2003.
Okay,
year
I didn't realize it was that.
Yeah,
I thought
the
for some
year
reason,
before Fitzgerald was drafted.
Okay, gotcha. All right, because I knew that Plummer was with the Cardinals. I wasn't sure if he was there
Yeah.
long enough to play with Larry. But anyway, yeah, Drew Brees. I'll let y'all talk about Drew Brees because I like Drew Brees.
He was great.
Yeah.
He was incredible. I mean, the way that the NFL is going recently, as far as the defenses have adjusted pretty well to the prolific passing attacks that we've seen over the past couple of decades. Additionally, the new kickoff rules are cutting fields much smaller, and so there are fewer passing yards to get out there, which is why I think we saw 3 or 4 quarterbacks this year top 4,000 passing yards. We haven't seen a 5,000-yard passer in a few years now. Like, Drew,
think of that.
Granted, it was different during Drew Brees' career. There were a lot of guys who were throwing 4,000, 4,500 yards. You didn't see a guy who was throwing 5,000 every year like Drew Brees was, and it was not purely off of volume. Obviously, there was a lot of volume there for him, but it's not like he was throwing the ball more than any other quarterback. Matt Stafford always outpaced him in pass attempts, and there were other quarterbacks who were throwing just as much as him. Peyton Manning was throwing as much as Brees. Rodgers was throwing as much as Brees. Brady probably not quite hitting the same volume, but Phillip Rivers was throwing as much as Drew Brees oftentimes. Drew Brees was constantly like the number one and at worst like the number 2 guy in completion percentage throughout his career. And yes, some of that was short dink and dunk passes. He liked those, but lots of quarterbacks have made that their bread and butter. He had the ability to throw it downfield and throw it outside the numbers in a way that most guys his size have not been able to do for as long as he could do it. We saw Russell Wilson have success throwing the ball outside the numbers to a very underrated wide receiver core through most of his career, but he didn't keep that skill set for his whole career the way that Drew Brees did. And Brees did it he usually had like one really good receiver and then a bunch of kind of nobodies on his team, and yet he was constantly throwing for 5,000 passing yards. He had to throw the ball over the middle of the field because he had one of the best pass-catching tight ends ever in Jimmy Graham, and that's where he operated, and that's not an area of the field that most 6'0" quarterbacks have success in, and yet he was doing that. So Drew Brees is one of the best to ever do it, maybe the best to ever do it in his style and certainly at his height.
Yeah, the thing we've talked about with Drew or with shorter quarterbacks is they struggle to attack the middle of the field, like you said, Corey. But that was like Drew Brees was a quarterback that was undersized that you never noticed it. Like
right,
he was on his tippy toes with his neck up and stuff like that, so he could see over everybody.
Well, he was a whole foot taller after he got hit against the
After
49ers.
he got his neck rearranged there.
It was arranged the same. It was just the bones were further apart.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, I mean, Jimmy Graham was only with the Saints for 5 seasons, so like it's not like Brees like spent his whole career slinging it to that guy over the middle. But like I just remember I went to several games in the Superdome, and we were watching players in warm-ups, and one of the quarterbacks was throwing the ball around, and he was making some nice throws. And my mom was like, "Is that Drew Brees?" And I was like, "No, that's not Drew Brees. I know it's not Drew Brees because he missed a throw." And then Drew came out wearing his little hat that he had on and started throwing ropes everywhere, just on the money, no matter what. I was like, "That's Drew Brees." And my
Who
mom,
was the other quarterback?
Luke McCown or somebody like that.
Oh,
yeah, like,
okay.
And professional quarterbacks are excellent at what they do.
Yeah.
And so Luke McCown can throw the ball accurately.
Sure.
He's just
Especially
not Drew
in warm-ups,
Brees.
but
Yeah.
no,
Yeah, like even my mom was like, she noticed me. She's like, "Oh yeah, that's Drew Brees." I could tell that's a different level of talent. Most accurate quarterback of all time. Like period. End of story. Like we talk about completion percentage as a metric of that. That's not really fair because you can have a high completion percentage just by checking it down. Sam Bradford set the record for completion percentage for a season by dinking and dunking. But yeah, Brees down the field accuracy was phenomenal. Tight windows, all of that stuff. Again, my team's never going to have a quarterback that good ever again. In all likelihood, I would be shocked because Brees is arguably a top 10 quarterback of all time.
Oh, he is 100% a top 10 quarterback of all time, in my opinion. I think that he's arguably a top 5.
I mean,
Some June football conversation content.
I mean, we're talking about the Hall of Fame. They
was
just got
announced,
inducted. Maybe
2
pay
days ago.
attention. Like, come on. Anyway, Luke Kuechly got inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Shout out to Drew Brees for coming back from that catastrophic shoulder injury.
Yes, that too. It's
Kind of need that.
yeah,
To throw the ball.
it's important. Yeah. Luke Kuechly inducted. I think he was in his second year of eligibility.
I believe so.
One of the best middle linebackers in the history of the sport. Just incredible player. Shortened career due to concussions, but yeah, deserved inductee. Any thoughts about Luke Kuechly?
Yeah, I mean, it's not every day that you get a player who only played 8 seasons in the NFL make the Hall of Fame. Like that's not a lot of
It's like Gale Sayers type of stuff.
right. But he made the Pro Bowl in every year but his rookie year, in which he was the defensive rookie of the year. So
What?
Yeah,
That's incredible.
yeah. He made the Pro Bowl year 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. He played. He only had one season where he only played 10 games. The rest of his career, he was playing basically 15 or 16 games every year. I think he had a 13-game season in there as well. Those were like in the middle. But he closed his career out. He played in 47 of the last 48 games that the Panthers had in his career.
Goodness gracious.
And yet he retired due to injuries, due to concussions. And he played the middle linebacker position. You are in there on every play. You are part of, he had 100 or more solo and assisted tackles every year of his career. Even the year that he only played 10 games, he had 102 tackles. Like, he's in the trenches on every play. He is hitting. He's being hit. And yet he was out there constantly, and he was so good. There have been some great middle linebackers in my lifetime. Jonathan Vilma is a guy that I often look at as being one of the best to ever do it. Luke Kuechly was better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, clearly better.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do.
Well, there's also one guy from up the road.
That was
pretty
the
impressive.
first
Ray-
name
yes.
out of your mouth?
Well,
At the middle linebacker position?
yeah, Ray
Jonathan
Lewis was
Vilma
awesome.
was great. But, hello?
Okay. Ray Lewis was awesome, too.
He's better than both.
Yeah, Ray Lewis is better than both.
Yeah.
But I don't think that the gap between him and Kuechly is, astronomical. Kuechly was that dude.
I hated the guy, because he just
Well, because he played against your team twice a year.
Yeah, he tackled everybody all the time. He was incredible. So, Adam Vinatieri inducted in the Hall of Fame. I think this feels appropriate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think he has the most field
Isn't he the
goals
all-time
in
leading
NFL
scorer?
history.
All-time
I think
points
he's the
leader,
leading.
yeah.
He's the all-time leading scorer. If you're gonna have a kicker in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, it starts
football.
with Adam Vinatieri.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's clutch kicks, 4 Super Bowl wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, speaks for itself. And then we had one inductee from the senior tour, I guess, which we'll discuss that a little bit further for the next topic. Roger Craig, the former 49ers running back, the first running back to have 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards in a season, had been sitting on the shelf for a while. Finally got his day. Was inducted into the Hall of Fame. I mean, I was surprised that a guy that prominent that had won, I think he was on 3 of those 4 Super Bowl teams that they won with Joe Montana.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously he was prolific for a couple seasons. I didn't realize he didn't really have that long of a career, and his volume numbers were not overwhelming, which is probably why he didn't get in on the normal ballot. But they determined he belonged in, so they put him in.
I mean, I have no problem with this. He was a Pro Bowler 4 times in his career. He was AP first team once. He was 3rd in MVP voting in 1988. He was
Eisen won it that year.
He was a legitimately awesome player during his career. And that's despite the last 2 years of his career, he wasn't a regular starter for the 49ers, 92 and 93. So I never got to actually watch him play. But you go back and you watch footage of the 49ers throughout the 80s, and he's a part of a lot of the big plays that they had.
Yeah, I mean, he was a good player, so.
No argument out of me.
All right, so there was some consternation, though, because of this, senior ballot committee that votes. It's 50 guys or whatever. And
they vote on the senior ballot, plus contributors are part of that same ballot.
Yeah, and that part doesn't make sense to me because it sort of created a scenario where Bill Belichick did not get into the Hall of Fame his first year of eligibility, which is just
And neither did Robert Kraft, for that matter.
yeah.
But
Bill's worse. Bill's more
yes,
offensive.
of course. Like, you win 7 Super Bowls, and
So he won 8.
He won,
He won 2 with the Giants.
Two
oh yeah,
with
he
had
yeah
6 with
he
the Patriots.
yes, so
Only won 8 Super
You won
Bowls.
6 Super Bowls as the head coach, and you're not in the Hall of Fame right away. Like, really?
Well,
It-
he
it's-
should have won all 8 of them. Or all 9 of them he was in.
So
obviously.
you were only allowed to vote for 3 people to get in on your ballot, and I understand the rationale of the people who did not vote for Bill Belichick. I don't think it was the right choice because Bill deserves to be in immediately,
As soon as
like
possible.
as soon as possible.
Yeah.
He's the greatest head coach in NFL history, regardless of how you feel about how his legacy has been affected by coaching at North Carolina, by his much younger than him girlfriend,
All the
by
hates.
what happened in New England after Tom Brady left. Like, Bill deserves he deserves at least as much credit for what the Patriots did over Tom Brady's career as Tom Brady did, because very regularly their defenses were excellent. And that's a part of why they were able to go to the Super Bowl when Tom Brady didn't always have the best receivers around him, when they had to make crazy adjustments because early in the season Brady was getting sacked an astronomical number of times, and he had to go from taking 3 seconds per drop back to cutting it down to like 1.7 seconds before he got the ball out. Like, we remember those years, and the defense was keeping them in a lot of those situations.
When they had a bunch of jabronis on defense
he
when
needs
they went
to be in
Super
the Hall
Bowl
of
against
Fame.
the Rams.
That said,
Who are these people?
there are so many players on the senior eligibility list for the Hall of Fame who deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, who have been overlooked for so long. I understand the decision to put votes on those players to try to get them the recognition that they deserve when you are limited in the number of votes you can give.
Yeah, so like my thing with this is the whole purpose of having like this senior ballot for these guys who didn't get in on like the standard ballot is so that they don't keep getting pushed back by new eligible inductees who are going to go first ballot.
Right. And
So
when
why are you putting Bill Belichick in the
Yes.
mix with them? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
Like,
if anything, put Bill.
they should be
and-
separated.
yeah, they should be either have their own third category or put them with the standard
used to
ballot
be,
or
yeah.
whatever. And like, we only have five people going into the Hall of Fame this year. Like, I'm used to most classes being between like 6 and 8.
Yeah, it's usually more than that.
And we had 5 this year. I think we only had 5 last year.
I think that's the new standard. Is you
Which
only can select so many people.
I feel like that's an overcorrection. I think that that's too exclusive. Like, I think that there are a lot of other players on both the senior list, the standard list, and obviously Bill Belichick and maybe Robert Kraft, who deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. And I think that the Hall needs to reevaluate their system.
I mean, they certainly do if this is the result, right? If the Hall of Fame voters decided Bill Belichick's not good enough to get in the Hall of Fame this year, for whatever reasons they may have for making this decision, it was the wrong decision. So something's got to change somewhere, because like this, it's an indefensible outcome. Like you can't have this happen.
I actually think, though, this is kind of good for Bill Belichick's current PR, because everybody got on TV or Twitter or social media or whatever and said, this is insane, how do you leave Bill Belichick out? Bill has not exactly had the best run the last 5 years or so, and this kind of brought people's attention back to the fact that, oh yeah, he was a legendary coach. And it feels like, it's easy to just focus on the here and now, but now it's like, yeah, Bill's the man. We want to see Bill get into the Hall of Fame, so hopefully that gets handled next season, because this is absurd. And
Yeah.
with Bob Kraft, I don't really care. He's an owner. I just don't care. Like,
Yeah,
congratulations, you brokered a good CBA deal. You figured out how to make you and your fellow owners a bunch of money. That doesn't do anything for me, the fan. So but I'm sure he'll get in eventually too.
Yeah, I mean, we had other snubs this year too. To be clear, Torrey Holt didn't get in the Hall of Fame. I think he deserves to be there.
For a long time, and he should have gotten in a long time.
Yeah, no, he's still not in.
My goodness.
Reggie Wayne, I think, should be in the Hall of
agree.
Fame. I
He was
think.
in already too.
I think Frank Gore. I believe
What-
that he should
what-
be a
he's
Hall of
not
Famer.
in, really?
No, he's
Oh
not in
my-
the Hall of
Yeah,
Fame.
He's like
he's
third all time
Marshall
in rushing or
Yonda,
something.
great Raven, not in the Hall of Fame. You could make the argument for Terrell Suggs. There's the argument for. I'm a little bit on the
He's
fence
top 10
about.
in sacks
Yeah,
ever.
I'm on the
Like,
fence
that's-
about him, but there's an argument for Eli Manning, a two-time Super Bowl MVP who beat the greatest quarterback of all time twice in the Super Bowl.
Well, the
I think
Patriots
there's an
didn't have a
argument
Hall
that
of
he
Fame coach,
deserves to
so-
be in the Hall of Fame. So there were a lot of snubs
always
this year
are.
who, again, I think that 5 is too exclusive.
Okay.
I don't think that we need to be sticking to 5.
Well, that's what they're doing now. So before we get to Super Bowl LX, 60 of these things now. My goodness. Let's talk just
an AARP card.
just briefly about NFL honors. Not a whole lot of surprises here, but I mentioned this. The MVP voting was remarkably close.
Yes.
Like, I figured Stafford would...
Has there been one that close since the tie between
like
Peyton
Manning,
and Steve McNair?
I don't think so. And that was a weird one because there were like 8 dudes that got votes that year. Like Tom Brady got votes that year. Priest Holmes got votes. Jamal Lewis got votes. But yeah, this was pretty much a 2-man race, and everybody knew that. I thought it was going to be like a 30-20 type of situation where it's like where May gets a decent amount of support, but Stafford wins by a decent margin. That's just how the vibes felt. And then I saw 24-23, and then 3 other votes for other quarterbacks. I was like, didn't see that coming. So pretty interesting race. I don't have anything to say except for goofball that voted for Justin Herbert. What are you doing? Like, I have zero issue if a voter says, I'm going to select a guy that is sort of not really in the race, but I believe he's the MVP. Like, Aaron Schatz did this 2 years ago when he voted for Josh Allen instead of Lamar Jackson, and he was the only voter that didn't vote for Lamar. So Lamar got 49 out of 50 votes, but he wrote an entire essay explaining, this is why I decided ultimately to pick Josh Allen. And I was like, okay, I actually believe you believe that. There's no way anybody actually believes that Justin Herbert was the best quarterback in the league this year. You can't believe that. It's impossible.
No. So,
Yeah,
and here's the other thing. So, the 24-23, that's a piece of the voting. The final tally was 366 for Matthew Stafford, 361 for Drake May, because you get to vote
His
for
ranked choice,
5 for 5 MVPs candidates. 10 points for a first place vote, 5 I think for a second place
second, yeah.
vote, and I think it's like 3, 2, and 1
yeah.
for your other 3 choices. You want to throw out Justin Herbert for like a third place vote or a fourth place vote or something? Be my guest. But like Matthew Stafford and Drake May were clearly the 2 best choices for MVP this year. And after that, I can name at least 10 players I think deserve votes more than Justin Herbert. I think Christian McCaffrey deserves some votes. I think JSN could be argued to deserve some votes. Puka Nacua. I would even go back to the first half of the season
Your boy
when Jonathan Taylor looked like the MVP, like
Sitting
the
here every
MVP.
week.
You want to throw some votes his way? Absolutely, be my guest. Trevor Lawrence. You want to throw some votes at him? I would pick Trevor Lawrence over Justin Herbert this year. Like,
The idea of Trevor Lawrence getting serious support really rankles.
Trevor Lawrence did get the 5th most points for the MVP voting race
and I
this year
think
at
that's
49.
I think that's ridiculous. He played 1 good month of football.
I think he deserves more than Justin Herbert, though.
I mean, that's okay, but that doesn't say
That-
anything
but that's
about him.
but that's my
Like,
point. I'm just saying that there are at least 10 other guys that I would put ahead of Justin Herbert in that race, and Trevor Lawrence is one of them.
yeah. Again,
I'm a Justin Herbert guy. I think he's great, but MVP this year,
Right.
I don't
No.
see it. Like, that's not.
Absolutely not.
the rationale given by I think it was Sam Munson was the guy that voted for him was that
He's drunk.
his line was bad or whatever, and I'm like, okay. And
Lots of players had bad lines.
Drake May had a bad offensive line, and he actually
offensive line is
produced.
terrible.
Yeah, so like I realized that Drake May's line is subpar, whereas Justin Herbert's line was abysmal. But still, you can't have a subpar offense and win the MVP as the leader of the offense. That doesn't make any sense. You don't actually have value then. Like a good quarterback should turn a bad offensive situation palatable. an MVP elevates that offense to being at least above average, and they weren't. So just ridiculous and just pure posturing. Like, vote for a guy you actually think is the MVP.
Totally agree.
Take the job seriously, please.
Yeah.
It's all engagement farming now. It's like, oh, now I get to be special and talk about why I voted for this idiot instead. Like, give me a break. It's just pure idiocy, and I'm tired of it. But all right, let's move on to actual football. Super Bowl licks. No, we already had licks, but did we have licks at one point? Anyway,
Wasn't that last year?
This is
That was-
this is LX.
yes. So anyway,
Yeah, LIX was last
Last
year.
year,
But
so we had
it's
Super
still
Bowl
licks.
yeah, I guess. But anyway, Seahawks, Patriots. Pretty interesting matchup. Rematch of Super Bowl X licks, because that was a thing. And that might have been the best Super Bowl of all time. The game was incredible. But anyway, this is obviously two different teams, two different coaching staffs on both sides, two different starting quarterbacks. The Seattle Seahawks have an excellent defense, and they've rejuvenated the career of Sam Darnold, who looked like a massive bust. And meanwhile, the Patriots.
Rejuvenated.
What?
When was his career rejuvenated the first time?
Well, he had a career, and it looked like he wasn't going to have it anymore. He looked like he was banished to backup status, and now he's a well-paid starting quarterback who is favored to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, now he gets to face the team that had him seeing ghosts all those years ago.
That's also a thing, yeah. So what were we thinking here?
I was thinking about that on the ride down here. I feel like the Patriots' offensive line is in danger of getting exposed by Seattle's defense.
It's already been exposed quite a bit this playoffs. They've just gotten away with it. Like, their defense has kind of saved them.
The Patriots have played much better defense in the regular season than they did in the postseason than they did in the regular season. In the regular season, the Patriots defense was not really anything special. They've played great recently. That's going to give them a chance in this game. But Seattle's offense has flown under the radar. Like, they've been much better than the sum of their parts this entire year, in my opinion.
Have they? Because they got some
I
pretty
think
good
so.
parts. They got the best offensive player in the league.
I
good
think
part.
I think they've been better than the sum of their parts, and their defense has been exceptional. I don't see how the Patriots actually wind up winning this game.
I mean, I see a way, and it's
Sam Darnold.
Sam
gives it to
Darnold,
him.
yeah. I mean, Sam Darnold led the league in turnovers this year.
Hawks still win.
See,
I don't think that's gonna happen.
where I think that, yeah, if that happens, the outcome becomes very murky if he turns it over twice. If he turns it over 3 times, they're not winning the football game.
Because I feel like the Patriots are going to be prepared not to turn it back over, right? Like the Patriots and the Texans had their close game like a month ago now because it was just a turnover festival. Drake May turned the ball over a whole bunch of times, and somehow C.J. Stroud turned it over more times than that. But like, in the playoffs, you can't turn the ball over. Like you just can't. Ask Josh Allen why he doesn't have a coach anymore. Or
He's got a new coach.
he's got a new
And
coach,
it's the
exactly.
same old coach.
And it's the same coach.
The Seahawks had a -3 turnover differential this regular season. The Patriots had a +3. So the Patriots did have an advantage there, but it was not huge. Like, the Patriots turn the ball over as much as they take it away.
I mean, that's okay, but part of that's from Andre Stevenson was grassing every ball the first 5 games of the season. So, I mean,
And
like,
all 17 times they fumbled in the Steelers' red zone.
they did have that happen too. That was a wild game. To me, the key is if the Patriots don't get pressure on Sam Darnold, they're going to run up and down the field on this team. But if they get pressure on him, they could force him into turnovers, and
He
that
gets rattled.
if he gets rattled, that could happen. Again, I'm not saying Sam Darnold has shaken all of his demons because he played one excellent game against a pretty leaky defense in the Rams, because that's really, for the last 2 months of the season, the Seahawks offense was not great. Like, Sam Darnold had 8 touchdowns and 8 turnovers in his last 8 games.
They had a stretch where they were having trouble getting the ball to JSN.
Yeah, and
That's
and they
your
won all those
fantasy
games
team there.
anyway because their defense is great. I do wonder, though, if the Seahawks are able to do what the other teams have done to the Patriots this playoff run and just burn Will Campbell as their left tackle and get pressure on May. it's going to be really tough for the Patriots to move the ball. So it feels like May's going to have like a superhuman game, but we know he's capable. He's a great young player. If he's able to do that, they've got a shot. If not, we'll see. And again, it really does come down to quarterback play. I know that's boring and reductive, but we know these defenses will get after it. We know Drake May's had issues with turnovers the playoffs. We know Sam Darnold's had turnover issues since he was at USC. So that's ultimately it's going to come down to which guy can play a cleaner game.
And to their credit, the Patriots have beaten, 3 top 5 defenses in the playoffs so far this year? Certainly 3 top 10 defenses. You had the Texans and the Broncos, who were both top 5.
The Chargers are top 5
and the Chargers, at the very least, were top 10, if not top 5.
Yeah.
So, the Patriots have gotten it done against very good defenses, but Seattle stands above all of those.
And Seattle's offense, I think, is better than...
They're better than the Texans, for sure.
Steady.
They're better. They're better than the Broncos, quite frankly. Like, the Broncos were they have a lot of good pieces, but like it never really came together. Bo Nix.
Bo Nix didn't play. That's the most important
thing.
Bo
Nix didn't play, and so like what we're gonna do there? And then we already talked about the Chargers' offense and how bad it was, and how it made no sense to make Justin Herbert an MVP. By anybody.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So are we making picks here or what?
I'm ready to make mine.
I don't even know what the line is.
The line is Seattle -4.5.
4.5.
Yeah.
Give me the Patriots, because
I'm definitely taking the points. I'm taking the points on that front. Apparently, the last several Super Bowl, I don't know how long it goes back, for anybody that's been favored by like more than 3 has never covered and oftentimes loses outright. So, it's been an underdog's bet, so far in the Super Bowl the last decade or so.
Yeah, I think the number says that the Patriots are more likely to win by 2 scores, or more likely to win by 14 plus than to lose by more than that spread when the spread is that big.
Huh.
Like the underdog, when the spread is that big, they either lose by less than that, or they win by 14 points or more.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, so I'm also taking the Patriots against that spread.
I still think Seattle wins, but
I should take Seattle just because you and I are tied in the season picks.
See, no, you can't do that. That is a violation of the integrity of the game.
You're up by 1. You're up by 1.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Give me a break.
I should try and tie you.
Yeah, I mean you can.
No, so I have the Seahawks winning 27-24. So it's the 3-point spread. So that puts me with the Patriots on this.
I didn't pick a score.
I didn't either.
All right. Well,
you guys will have to and send me a short write-up so we can put it on the blog.
Oh, there's homework?
Yeah,
yes.
we'll post that on the blog. Shouldn't take a whole lot of effort. We've kind of
in the morning
made our thoughts known. Yeah. But Super Bowl week, that means the most important exercise we do every year.
Oh, yeah.
Cory was so distraught that he lost money to me last time that he ran off and had a kid and didn't do the podcast last year. So after Cory was whooping my ass every year at this, last year I got my lick back. Or not last year, 2 years ago. So we are back with some prop bets. We sort of pick by Evan's tiebreaker.
Yes.
And Evan's got a devious smile on his face, so I'm curious as to what he has in mind, and I can't wait to hear this tiebreaker that will obviously be all about Evan.
Of course it's about me. Who else would it be about?
I mean, I'm not arguing. That's a good point.
So I think it was in 2022. Our tiebreaker on here was how many roller coasters had I been on, and that number I think was 110 at the time.
I think it was like 112. Yeah, it's around there. Yeah.
Now I've been on over 500. Mm-hmm. But my question for you two today is, how many different parks have I been to? How many individual venues?
I feel like Eric is more equipped to answer this than I am.
But it's still going to be...
So I'm going to make him answer first.
Oh, man.
And then I'm going to take the over the under, basically.
So any place that has a roller coaster is
so
a
like
park.
Funland of Fredericksburg, that was one. Wisp Ski Resort was one. But then also Kings Island has like 15, and that's one. Right? So how many...
One. Yeah.
How many different venues have I been to?
Do mountain coasters count as one venue?
That's an establishment, right?
So they've got a... Yeah,
we're not actually going to do this, what is it called? Price is Right rules. I'm not going to make you say it out loud and then me say it out loud and take the over.
Yeah. What
we
do
gotta
you
write
think the
this
number
down,
is?
yeah. All right, well, man, this is gonna be brutal. There's so many little rinky-dink parks. Too. Oh, it's gonna be tough.
All the trips you didn't join me on.
Yeah,
I was driving all over the
now
place.
I'm regretting it. That's why that's gonna even the odds for Cory. Because man,
you could have been in the car.
That sounds terrible. Just sitting in the car,
sitting in traffic in Southern California for 5 hours.
I did enough of that in 2023.
Yeah, you could have came with me to Iowa and Minnesota and stuff.
All my favorite places. Okay. Let's try to figure this out.
Yeah.
We can't just sit here and lollygag all day.
No,
so.
you have to guess the number.
Yes. Oh man.
All right, I have my number.
Okay. Eric does not have a number.
Wow, we came with pretty close numbers.
That is an 8, by the way. That's really bad.
Oh, goodness
Eric put
gracious.
89,
So
and my guess was 91, so it almost is an over-under.
Wow. This is actually incredibly close. So Eric guessed 89, which, isn't clear by what he wrote.
That's why I told you it was an 8.
Cory guessed
really
91. Cory, congratulations. You're the winner. The answer is 101.
Nice.
Yes. I figured it had to be close to 100 because 500 roller coasters, and while obviously some parks have tons of them, a lot of them only have like 1 or 2.
No, there's a
and
lot
so
of one-offs.
like you're probably like I figured like an
Go-karts
average
plus.
of maybe just over 5 per park.
I got that one too.
Which turns out I was
Sluggers
in the
and putters.
neighborhood. I'll take it.
Jeepers of Beltway Plaza back in the day. I got that one.
Kitty
yeah.
Park.
Oh my goodness.
So-
Memphis Kitty Park, as you know, is in Cleveland,
Yes,
Ohio.
Cleveland. The first whatever roller coaster. That was a really awkward ride for me too.
So
you
let's
went
get
to
into
Memphis?
our prop bet. So
Yeah, let's do it. Cory gets first
We've
pick.
done what 5 years of prop bets.
I don't know, man. It's-
we skipped last year, as Eric already said, but the last time we did this 2 years ago was the first time that Eric actually won money off of me. He won
did.
a little over $21.
Oh,
Lifetime, I'm up $18.15.
I cut into that quite a bit, yeah.
Yes, Eric cut into
Big
it
winner.
quite a bit there. Eric won 7 of those prop bets. I won 3. So every year we pick 10 props, and we go back and forth. Since I won the tiebreaker, I get to pick the first of these 10, and I am going with whether the first score of the game will be a touchdown or something else, field goal, safety, whatever. And I am going to take the lower odds but the higher potential payout of $6.25 and go with a non-touchdown, because 4 of the last 10 Super Bowls did open with a touchdown as the score, which means that 6 did not. And that held true for the previous 10 before that as well. So more Super Bowls over the last 20 years have started with a non-touchdown than with one. So that's where I'm going.
So
All
3
right.
ways to score.
Touchdown, field goal, safety.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going non-touchdown.
I mean, obviously safeties are not common, so
Unless it ruins the Super Bowl while you're standing
while
at the
you're
door with the
grabbing pizza,
guy.
yeah. And I'm
Game was over right away.
looking at Cory in his bright orange Broncos Peyton Manning Super Bowl jersey with his bleached blonde hair. Anyway, that was a great time for me. Anyway,
fun that night.
so I get next pick now.
Yep.
I probably would have picked what Cory picked for that one, so I'm sad. All right, you know what my favorite prop is.
The national
It's
anthem.
the one we always have on here. The over-under on the number of seconds the national anthem performance lasts.
Oh,
Yep.
And this year, the over-under is 124.5. So 2 minutes and 4.5 seconds is the over-under. And since seconds can be split into decimals, it's not like you're guaranteed. It's not all integers.
You said it's the over-under set at what?
124.5 seconds.
Yeah, so they actually have a different number on that's like an early number. I've seen a different one, so I don't know if we want to go with the current one or not.
On the show.
Do we want to do the current?
Yeah, what's the current line?
The current line is one. Hold on. Sorry.
I'm assuming it's minus 105 for both. Even odds.
No, so that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
boy.
the actual time.
I know. What's
they
the new
changed
time?
it to 120.5.
So they cut it by 4
Yes.
seconds. Well, I was already going to pick the over because I always do. And now I'm definitely picking the over because I got 4 more seconds back. Let's go.
All right. That's fine. I was going to take the under anyway.
Charlie Puth, I think.
Yeah.
This is the only prop bet that I consistently win, by the way. I lose all the other ones all the time, but I consistently bring it home with the national anthem. So that's why I always pick it.
Are you singing it next year?
I should sing it. That'd be great.
Then we can't use it as a prop bet anymore because you can influence it.
Well, y'all can bet on it and just
Eric and I don't, or Evan and I don't do prop bets. Evan doesn't participate in those.
do just one. Do that one.
All right. All right. So I'm going to take my next one as what will be the first touchdown? Will it be a pass or some other method? So that can include a rush, a return, a defensive touchdown, and I'm taking a non-passing touchdown as the first touchdown of the game. It also has a higher payout of $6 versus $3.33. 4 of the last 10 Super Bowls saw a pass as the first touchdown. 5 of the 10 before that saw a pass as the first touchdown. So this is pretty even either way, so I'm taking the higher payout.
To be clear, if if one of the quarterbacks throws a pick six,
That is not a passing touchdown.
Yeah, it's a defensive
even though it
return.
was a pass,
It's
for a
correct.
touchdown,
A passing touchdown has to be credited as a to the
a
quarterback.
completed pass,
Yeah.
to
to
his
a,
team.
to a teammate. All right. Well, since Cory is, grabbing up on all the high odds stuff, 3+ unanswered scores by either team at any time in the game. Yes is -180. I've done zero research on this because what fun is that? But that seems kind of weird that's that high. Like, I feel like you get a little more back and forth in Super Bowls. Hell yeah, I'm taking no on that, which is +145, so that's a $725 payout if it hits. And also, I just need to make sure that Cory doesn't grab up all these, so I don't have to pay him like $100 or something like that at the end of this. But
So
that's what I'm going with.
I also wanted the no on that one because of the higher payout.
Right.
But I had this much lower in my order that I wanted to go with because, believe it or not, there is a good reason for why yes is so heavily favored. In 5 of the last 10 Super Bowls, there has been a team that scored at least 3 unanswered. And in the previous 10 before that, it happened 7 times. So most Super Bowls have a team score 3 unanswered times at some point in the game.
I still feel like I
In
like
fact,
that.
many of those had at least 2, if not 3 sets of 3 consecutive scores, which is
there
crazy.
any evidence or saying it, getting this data from only Super Bowls? Isn't it just another game? How often does one team score 3
so
times
I had
in a row
to go through
in
every
any NFL
I had
game?
to go through every game script individually to get that because there isn't a database that tracks all this in a way that I could find it easily.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what the numbers are on the grand scale of every NFL game over the course of the season. But I mean, I would imagine if anything, that probably happens more frequently in non-Super Bowls because you also
the
have a lot of
Ravens'
games
defense in
between
the fourth
great
quarter.
teams and terrible teams mixed in there.
I'm pretty sure the Patriots just scored again on the Titans in the snow when it's 59-0. That's more than 3 in a row. So
It snowed in October.
yeah. Anyway, so
All right, so Eric's got that one.
even
so
with the math you just said, I still think that the odds favor me.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a
payouts,
great
so.
payout there. If I do wind up winning, you owe me less than $3. So why not take the chance of getting $725? That's why I was going to go that route. But there's a reason why the odds were not in the no's favor, which is why I had it a little bit lower on my list.
Yeah, I've done zero research on any of this, so
I'm going to go
next.
next with the first to score prop. And I am again going to go with the higher payout odds and say no. You get $625 if the first team to score does not win. You get $323 if they do. And again, I looked at the last 10 and then the previous 10. 5 of the last 10 Super Bowls, the first team to score won the game. In the previous 10, 7 of the first scores wound up winning the game. So the yes is correctly the favorite there, but I'm going to go with the higher payout, and I'm going to say no, the first team to score will not win.
All right, well, the next one I'm picking involves my sad boys, the University of Maryland Terrapins men's basketball team, because they play Minnesota that day on Super Bowl Sunday on the road. And the prop that Cory dug up from, or made up, I don't know.
I made this one up.
You just made this up.
I made this one up because I looked at the numbers and I felt like they were actually fairly comparable. And
All right, so this is a Cory's own.
Yes.
And I'm going to challenge the book, which is Cory in this case. I'm taking Maryland's points over Ramondre's yards. I need my boy Diggy Coit to drop 45 again and make sure this happens for me. But, I can't root against the Terps.
Yeah, so the prop is University of Maryland total points scored tomorrow afternoon against Minnesota versus Ramondre Stevenson's total scrimmage yards in Super Bowl 60. So I set it at even odds because it was a created bet. So I'm not going to create weird odds or whatever. So Ramondre Stevenson over the course of the regular season averaged 67.7 scrimmage yards per game. In the playoffs, he has averaged 93.3 because they've basically taken Travion Henderson out of the game plan and it's been all Ramondre Stevenson. Maryland has averaged 72 points per game this year. Minnesota's defense has given up an average of 69.0 points per game this year. So I was going to take Stevenson anyway, so I am thrilled with that.
I'm sure you are, but go Terps.
All right. So let's see. My next one is going to be the total number of challenges in the game. And to be clear, this is coaches' challenges, not replay assist challenges on scores, turnovers, whatnot.
Yeah.
So this is set at even odds. So either way, winner gets $5 on this one. In the last 10 Super Bowls, there have been a total of 5 challenges. The over-under is set at 1.5. 2 of those came by Atlanta in Super Bowl 51. 2 of them came by Carolina in Super Bowl 50. So over the past 8 Super Bowls, there's only been 1 coach's challenge. So I am absolutely taking the under on the 1.5 coach's challenge in this game.
I mean, the referees, these are supposed to be the best refs of the year. And I imagine the control center in New York, it's not like there are other games going on that'll have them distracted and, they'll miss something.
So the challenges from Super Bowl 51 that I remember off the top of my head, because
Just the Falcons.
I've watched a lot of that Super Bowl because I love it so much. But the first challenge was Bill Belichick challenged the insane Julio Jones catch on the sideline, and he literally only challenged it because he was like, that just cannot be. He cannot have possibly made that catch. And then he watched the replay, he even said, mic'd up, he's like, and it wasn't even close. He was easily in. And then the other challenge was the insane Julian Edelman catch. Like, the got deflected and a bunch of pile of humans, and he just caught it. Again, clearly called correctly on the field, but who the hell is Mike Quinn or Dan Quinn?
Yeah,
was,
Dan Quinn, yeah.
Oh, was it Mike Quinn? Dan
Their
Quinn.
next coach, Mike Smith.
Yeah.
The previous
way back in that.
I don't know.
I remember Mike Smith just got super red in the face when LaRon Landry trucked Matt Ryan way out of bounds, and he flipped out. And I'm like, that's
with Mike Smith and his super white hair.
Yeah,
so
like bleached hair almost.
make him look,
All right. So, Eric, we got 3 more to choose from.
Okay.
Um,
I'm trying to remember which ones.
So we have, will there be a score in the first 6 minutes of the game? We have, which team will be the first to punt? And we have, which team will be the first to score? Those were the last 3 on my list that I wanted to go with. So this is interesting.
Yeah, I don't like the punt
And you
one.
get to pick 2 of these 3. So.
Yeah. I don't like the punt one because I think those odds are not great. Let's see. What did you say?
Will there be a score in the first 6 minutes? First to punt, first to score.
Okay, I'm gonna go with first 6 minutes.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say for that one, I'm gonna take the yes. I'll take the little bit of extra juice there, plus 105 versus minus 135. I think you might see a score early. Rashid Shaheed could take it to the house and try to get slide tackled by the kicker again or something. Like that was and the New England's return man's good too. Like there could be a special team score here. It wouldn't surprise me.
So the reason I had this really low on my list is because I like the favorite much better, and so I was going to take the no on this, so that actually works out pretty well. Eric will get $5.25 if he's right because he's taking the underdog. I would get $3.70. In the last 10 Super Bowls, there's only been 2 where there was a score by 9 minutes left in the first quarter.
I feel like most Super Bowls start kind of tight.
Right. One was Super Bowl 50 10 years ago when Brandon McManus opened the scoring with a 34-yard field goal 4 minutes and 17 seconds into the game. The other was Super Bowl 57 when Jalen Hurts had a 1-yard touchdown run 4 minutes and 51 seconds into the game.
I remember where we were.
In the previous 10 Super Bowls, between 40 and 49, there were 4 times that a team scored in the first 6 minutes. So far more often than not, there is not a score early in the game. To Evan's point, most of these games start pretty tight. So I wanted to take the no, but I wanted to save these for last because I like to get the higher payout ones that I really like the odds on early. So that one works out. My next one, I'm going to take the first to punt prop bet, and I'm going to take New England. So let's see here.
So New England's minus 145.
Yep, New England's minus 145, so I'll only get 345 if I'm right. If Seattle's the first to punt, then Eric will get 575. New England, in 20 games that they've played this season, they were the first team to punt in 10 of them. In 19 games that the Seahawks have played this season, they were the first to punt in 5 of them. So Seattle does not punt first very often. And that's despite them starting with the ball fairly frequently this season, actually. So, I'm taking New England there despite the lower odds and the lower potential payout, which leaves Eric with the last prop, and that is who will be the first team to score. Please don't take my team.
I mean, like, the thing is, the first team to punt and the first team to score have, like, the same odds, just on opposite ends.
Yep, exactly.
So, you just told me why Seattle doesn't punt a lot. So, I could...
They also have some... turnover on downs does not count as a punt.
Of course not.
Right.
And also, Sam Darnold will lead the league in turnovers, as I have made quite well known on this podcast. I could be cute here and just basically cancel out the other bet to try to pull this off, but I'm not going to do that.
Or you can double up.
I'm going to try to double up.
Okay.
Let me get the Patriots to get the first score in this game. They're plus 115, 575 payout. So if they pull that off, and then Seattle has to punt, I'm happy.
It's actually funny because I was going to go opposite. So we both went opposite there.
Whatever. Yeah.
So
Let's play, go big or go home.
In 19 games this year, Seattle was the first to score in 11 of them. In 20 games this season, New England was the first to score in 10 of them.
Okay.
So, because that's the thing, like you might punt first, but then if you force the other team to punt, you can still go and be the first to score.
Sure, yeah.
So
there's a lot of variables.
Yes,
here.
there are.
Who wins the coin toss is the biggest variable of them all. And we got rid of that bet because that bet sucks. I hate that bet.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like that one either.
That doesn't sound like it's any fun because
I had that one. I had that one listed initially, and that was the first one I took out as soon as I could.
And as soon as I told you, I said that's the one that goes. Like, go to the coin toss.
Yeah.
So that settles up our prop bets. We will have the results of all that magic live updates on the blog page and final results, obviously at the end of the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So that'll be fun stuff. Hopefully I win some money, but if not, Cory will have a little more money to spend at Waffle House when he's marooned there for...
Which Eric already gave me $50 to spend at Waffle House.
I gave you
and
quite
by the way,
bit.
if you come by for a double stack, you're putting that on my tab. That 50 is covering that.
Okay, that's fine. If you want to pay for my lunch while I torture you or whatever and make you sit at this establishment in
Still got to bring
Maryland.
me the Snyder belt, by the way.
Yeah, I forgot that. Sorry. I gotta find it.
just riding around in your car.
No, I think I stashed
thousands
it.
of miles.
I stashed it in my room actually, and I don't remember. Anyway, that settles up our show for the week. It was all football all the time here.
I actually have one more thing.
Oh, Evan's got something.
I do have something.
What do you got?
So we didn't do our little bowl game deal for the ridiculous bowl games this year.
Yeah, for college football.
Oh, you have
all
some
right,
names?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, I
Alright,
want to play this game.
so-
Let's do it.
This should have been a tiebreaker.
Yes.
Oh,
But Evan wanted to make it all about him, so you know.
Of course.
That's fair enough.
So
All right.
I've got 5 bowl games, and one of them is fake.
Okay.
So the first one is the Bucked Up LA Bowl, hosted by Gronk. Yes.
Okay.
Can't forget to say that one for the podcast.
Yeah, it's a doozy. Don't want to have a Drewski moment here.
No.
An intentional. Screw you, Drewski.
All right.
There you go.
We have Bush's Boca Raton Bowl of Beans.
Okay. The of beans has me. I was like,
Right,
that sounds
yeah.
legit. And
As soon as I heard... well, never mind. Anyway. Snoop Dogg Arizona
That
Bowl,
was real.
presented by Gin and Juice.
Hold on.
by
The Snoop Dogg what?
The Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl, presented by Gin and Juice by Dre and Snoop.
I know that one's real. I remember that one being real.
And then we have the Staff DNA Cure Bowl.
Okay.
And finally, the Big Green Egg Starkville Integrity Bowl.
Didn't you already have that one on there as like a fake one?
I mean,
I thought you made fun of us because we thought that one was real.
Or did he make fun of us because we thought that was real and it wasn't, but now it is real?
This is
That would
totally
be
up to
incredible.
y'all.
Evan spoke it into existence. I'm pretty sure the Starkville green eggs and ham integrity bowl or whatever you said. I'm pretty sure that's still not real.
Cory, what do you think?
See, I want to agree because I think you're right.
I mean, the whole
But I'm
part of
also
this-
thinking about the bucked up LA bowl.
That
I'm
was
gonna
pretty wild.
I'm sticking with big green egg Starkville Integrity Bowl. That was not real.
All right, you're both right. The other four were real.
Because I thought you've used that
Yeah,
one
we've
before.
used that.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have. That,
We're not.
I don't know why it took so long for you to figure out that one was fake.
I figured out as soon as you said that it was fake. Just
It
now.
was him and Han. Like,
Well, but because
Because we're putting on a show here.
well, and I'm also like
Trying to
wha-
be entertaining,
I'm also like,
Evan.
why did you throw the same name in there? I was very
okay.
confused. I was like, what happened? Did I
Yes,
misremember?
yeah, if-
Did I
feel
memory
like we
hold
just
that?
wasted a shtick.
But the Bush bowl of beans.
Bush's Boca Raton bowl of beans.
Love it.
Yes.
Love it.
Incredible.
Not even the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl presented by Gin and Juice by Dre and Snoop.
That one. I mean, that one's really long. But I do remember seeing the Snoop Dogg bowl, and I was like, really? And I remember and I also remember seeing the Gronk one.
Yes.
What is
Which
that?
is getting canceled and not going to happen anymore.
I mean, okay.
alright.
Well,
All right. Anyway.
all right.
The bowl of beans.
Now we're finished with the show because we've squeezed out all of our ridiculous bits that we do around this time of year. So thank you, Evan, for reminding us of that. I know we hadn't had a show in quite a while, and kind of got caught up in some other things. But before we get rolling here, shout-outs. Cory, what do you
Got a few of them. So one of them is a shout out to Sonny Jurgensen, who
Oh, yeah.
sadly passed away yesterday, I believe, 91 years old.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Hall of Fame quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles and, of course, the Washington then Redskins. He was a longtime color commentator for the radio broadcast.
Yep.
I remember growing up, we never really liked the TV broadcasters when I was really little.
Yep.
And so we would turn off the sound on our TV and we would turn up the radio and listen to their call while watching the game. It was Sonny Jurgensen, Sam Huff was
Frank,
on
Sonny, and
those.
Sam, yeah.
And Frank Herzog, of course. So I have very vivid memories of those days, and it was always really sad when Sonny just kind of started to lose it mentally and ultimately had to step away from doing the broadcasting because he was always so entertaining as a broadcaster. So really big loss for the football community, but just shout out to him for having a really good NFL career and a great broadcasting career afterwards. He'll be missed. Shout out to you, Evan.
Oh.
Because last
I do?
weekend we had a fun time at
that's right, you
Pinstripes
guys
doing some
did.
bowling.
Yeah.
Eric had to leave early because
I
he was
did.
doing a thing.
I was doing a thing. Yeah.
But Evan stuck around for the bowling, and he had an epic comeback in our first game where he was down by like 20-something points going to the last frame, or after I finished my bowl of the last frame, and he hit a turkey. 3 straight strikes in the 10th frame to beat me.
Let's go.
I was
That's
stunned.
clutch.
My wife was stunned.
Your daughter was stunned too?
Yeah, I think Riley was as well.
Did
the second
Riley
game,
warm up to Evan at all? Because
she did.
Riley was kind of mean mugging Evan earlier.
And then in the second game that we played, I had like a 121 to 100 and something lead going into after I'd finished my bowl of the final frame, and Evan did just enough to tie me. So he beat me once and he tied me once. I had no wins on the day. I was very sad. But
happy birthday.
happy birthday anyway. Yeah. So shout out to you, Evan. And then I thought that there was another shout out that I had, but I don't remember what it was. I don't think it was as important, but
It wasn't me, was it? Because I'm hosting the show and I can kick you off and steal all your stuff.
I don't. Oh, the other one was a shout out to Bobby Wagner, who won NFL Man of the Year honors on NFL honors this
Nice.
year. His foundation is in honor of his mother, who died of a stroke when he was much younger, and He did not expect to win. He actually opened his speech by saying, "I almost didn't come tonight," which I think is wild. I've never heard that one, especially for the Man of the Year speech. But congratulations to him. I mean, that's it. It remains the most prestigious award that the NFL gives out every year. And shout out to all of the teams' men of the year.
Yeah, they're not
because nowadays like they actually get like a Man of the Year award, but for their team.
Yeah.
And then they're up for the NFL's big award named after Walter Payton. So shout out to all of them. Just amazing work being done by so many individuals around the NFL. They're true sportsmen. They're true icons, and people that anybody should feel good looking up to, I think.
Evan, you had something?
Yes, some people that I look up to and was looking up to literally this afternoon. Shout out to the people standing out in the freezing cold and wind on the Gorman Road Bridge over I-95 who were out protesting with signs and flags and stuff, presumably against the current administration of hateful fools. So, shout out to y'all being the real MVPs.
To be clear, we're not protesting the ice from the weather.
I mean, I'm protesting that too.
I'm protesting that so much. So many protests against all forms of ice.
So we're protesting lowercase and uppercase ice.
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
Write that down. That's great.
So I didn't really have a planned shout out other than shout out to Cory for letting me come on and do the St. John's DeMatha basketball game last Sunday. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no. Shout out to you for doing a great job stepping in. I mean, to go from not doing any basketball at all this year to stepping in and doing that, and it was great.
Bench.
I mean, it had been 2 years since the last time you did a basketball
from
game.
Way down at the end of the bench on senior night, basically.
Yeah. Just I'm Rudy coming into the game, except I'm actually not offsides and don't suck at football.
No, I mean, it's great to have somebody back pocket who, if other people who normally do those games can't do it, it's great to have you to step in because you and I just, over years of doing this podcast, doing the football games for DeMatha, we have a great rapport on air, and so that makes a huge difference. But on top of that, you watch enough basketball that you have a good sense of what you're looking at, which makes a difference.
Yeah. And also, I appreciated the... and I'm joined by the voice of DeMatha football, Eric Meyer. I'm like, yeah,
it's what you've become.
It is technically
the last couple of years.
That's my gig now, so I'm gonna hold on to that. I might put that in my Instagram profile, like voice of DeMatha football on DM Stags TV. That'd be cool. But I also wanted to just go back to Sonny Jurgensen because my dad also did the same thing where we muted the TV broadcast and listened the simulcast of the radio call while we watched the games. And my dad and I still quote Sonny Jurgensen, some of the things he said during those games. Obviously, not a whole lot of good things to say about the then Redskins and now Commanders, during those times because they sucked.
Yes, we did.
But but it was still entertaining to listen to them call the games. And it's interesting. Like I did a challenge where I tried to guess the franchise yardage leader for passing yards for each team. And I got 28 out of 32 right. One of the ones I got wrong was our local Washington Commanders because I guessed Sonny Jurgensen, and the answer is really Joe Theismann.
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize how long Jurgensen was with the Eagles. I knew he started his
spent
career there.
Most of his career.
Like it was about half and half.
Yeah.
And so he was maybe 1,000 yards short of Theismann, who set the record. So hopefully that number will be falling to Jaden Daniels because we'd like to see him stay consistent, but
stay healthy.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, it was always interesting to me that
also true.
Like Sonny Jurgensen and Sam Huff, like Sonny played about half his career in Philly, started in Philly,
and Sam Huff,
played most of his career at the Giants. I think he played 4 out of 13 seasons with Washington, or maybe 5, but either way, most of his career was with New York.
I have no idea who Sam Huff is.
He was a linebacker.
He's a linebacker.
Middle linebacker, I believe.
Way back in the day.
Yeah, 50s and 60s.
50s and 60s.
I think he only played 2 seasons in the Super Bowl era.
Something
like that.
I have no idea.
All I know is he was most pre-Super Bowl era.
Yeah, he passed away a few years back.
Yeah.
Too.
So he played his whole career in baseball stadiums and stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. So that does it for my shoutouts. I just tried to Google Sam Huff and I got some baseball player wearing an Orioles hat. And I've never heard of this guy, so I don't know who this is. But anyway,
I feel like that's AI or something. It's Aubrey Huff with a beard. It's got to be like that.
But
who in the world?
I don't know who this is. All right, it doesn't matter.
Anyway,
That's
we
way
need
off
to
track.
wrap up.
It's time to wrap it up. We knew this was going to be a little bit longer of an episode just because of Super Bowl stuff, but it's time to get on out of here. So thank you guys for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Hopefully you were able to find this podcast on a Saturday live. If not, you can catch it hopefully before the Super Bowl because that is tomorrow. So again, we appreciate y'all tuning in. You can email us at thesportsballers@gmail.com if you have any feedback or mailbag questions or want to tell us hi or we suck or something like that. We don't care. Just send us a message. It's fine. I think Cory the only one that looks at that email regularly anyway, so it'll all go to him. So you won't hurt my feelings
all the time because we get unread emails all the time.
Okay. Alrighty. And then you can get this podcast on Apple, Spotify, and you can get it on YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter at SportsBallers18. You can follow us individually on Twitter. Cory is at Cory Puffett. I am at Quagmire67. And Evan is at Evan_Ash13. We were all there. We all see it. Mm-hmm. We all see it. It's like blue hair in the grocery store.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. We will be back hopefully on Tuesday. Basketball schedule's gotten a little...
We have a basketball game on Tuesday.
Okay, well then we'll be back the following Tuesday hopefully.
Yes.
We will see.
Yes.
Be a little bit delayed with our Super Bowl reaction, but we will still talk about what happened in the game, and we will do our annual quarterback
yes.
challenge,
Yes.
which is always a fun
Yes.
thing.
Okay.
We get an extra week to cook it up this year because we would have been expected to do it on Tuesday. Now we get an extra week, so I guess that's kind of a nice reprieve.
To do that.
Yeah, me too. But Evan, you might have a trip coming up. Are you going anywhere President's Day weekend? Or
No,
nah, you
I
gonna
don't
hang
think
back?
so.
All right, well,
Flights
I
are
might
too
go up to
expensive.
Wisp. We'll see. We're thinking about it.
you should ride the coaster.
Yeah,
They have a coaster?
It's
I said that.
they've got a
on the
mountain
show.
coaster at Wisp. Yeah,
No. Is it open in the winter?
yeah, it's open year round.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm probably snow tipping.
All right. Anyway, until next time, whenever that is, enjoy the Super Bowl, stay warm, and take it easy.